Welcome to Retiring Today. There is a difference between an accumulation advisor and a retirement planner, and that's what we want to tackle today. I'm here with Loren Merkle. He's a certified financial planner, a certified financial fiduciary, and a retirement income certified professional. And Loren, you've seen it happen many times. People have had a long-standing relationship with an advisor, and those relationships are important. But then they get close to retirement, and some things need to start changing with that relationship. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
Well, it's what they start to realize, because as you get closer to retirement, you start to realize there's decisions you have to make now that you've never had to make before. You have to start deciding, what do you want to do with all of these 81 different Social Security options you might have. You have to start thinking about how to mitigate the impact of long-term care. If you need an extra $15,000 a month or $10,000 a month at the age of 80 to pay for long-term care expenses, you have to start thinking about how to mitigate the impact of this tax torpedo that hits you at RMD age. For many people, that's age 72. You have to start thinking about all these things where in your accumulation years, you've never had to think about before. So what we've always been taught is that our investments are our retirement plan. But slowly you start to realize there's way more to a retirement plan than just the investments. The investments in our accumulation years is what we're concerned about, because we know the investments are going to enable us to retire one day, because we still need an income once we leave our employer, and the investments can help fuel that income. But again, once you get to closer to retirement, the light bulb starts to come on. Hey, I got to focus on this, and I got to focus on this, and that's what all is comprised of a retirement plan.
Yeah, and speaking of that light bulb, Loren, you recently shared with the team kind of a moment you saw that happen when you were talking to a couple.
Yeah, this happens. It's not an uncommon thing. In fact, most of the people that come to us already have an advisor. They have an advisor on their team. They're not unhappy with their advisor. It's just, again, they start to realize there's things that needs to be done that their advisor doesn't do. And so this is where we talk about the difference between an accumulation advisor and a retirement planner. An accumulation advisor helps you on your mission to get to retirement, maybe the red zone before retirement, which is about 10 years prior to retiring. And then you have a retirement specialist or retirement planner that helps you get through that red zone of retirement through retirement. And this is, in this particular story, we're just going to call them Bob and Sue. Bob and Sue came to an in-person workshop that we held. And in this workshop, we talked a lot about taxes. We talked a lot about tax strategies. We talked specifically about some strategies that people could implement. And it really resonated with Bob and Sue. So they came in to see us through the complimentary retirement plan review that we offer at the workshop. And the very first, Bob and Sue sat down. This is the first visit. And Bob says right away, he goes, I just want to be up front. He goes, we have an advisor. We're happy with their advisor. In fact, not only are they happy with their advisor, they're long-term friends.
Sure.
So he's explaining to me their relationship. I mean, they've been friends for 19 years. They're in golf. They do golf together,
sure,
golf tournaments. They even share a lake house. I mean, they're ingrained
wow,
with their families. So he says, we're not interested in switching advisors. We have an advisor. We have a good friendship. We trust our advisor. I said, okay. I said, you guys are here. Let's talk, and let's see where it goes from there. So we have a good conversation. What I learned from them as we were talking about their concerns is their concern was not that they were going to run out of money. That is the number one concern of most pre-retirees. Do they have enough? That was not Bob and Sue's concern. Their concern was they have all this money that's never been taxed before. They realize they have a big tax bill as they look over the course of their retirement. So how do they mitigate that tax bill? That's what their big concern was. So we spent about 50 minutes talking about that and a few other things. And at the conclusion of that visit, we agreed it made sense for us to get together again. And in that second visit, that's when we provided them with the retirement plan review, and we really focused on their primal concern, which is tax savings strategies. So we had a great conversation. What we showed them is if they continue doing what they're doing, from a tax bill standpoint, we projected from 2020, because they retired in 2020, we projected from 2020 all the way through 2045, their projected retirement time frame, that their tax bill alone would add up to a 7-figure bill.
Wow.
A 7-figure bill if they continued to do what they were doing. And then we showed them if we implement just a few tax strategies that made sense to them and how it would reduce their retirement tax bill. and it reduced it by over $250,000. So this is just tax planning alone could have saved them over $250,000 if they devised an intentional customized tax plan to them. So we had a great conversation. The conversation took about 80 minutes. And at the end of the conversation, we decided that we wanted to work together to build their plan, which meant they had to say to their friend advisor that this relationship didn't work anymore. And Bob looked at Sue and said, he's going to be upset. He's going to be, Todd or whoever the
Sure.
friend advisor is, he's going to be upset. And Sue looked back at Bob and says, he's going to be upset. We should be upset because we've been paying for this service that we no longer need. And you can see it's going to cost us a lot more to maintain that service that we don't need anymore. And so they came to this revolution or realization that they needed a retirement specialist on their team. There is a big difference between an accumulation advisor and a retirement planner. It's not that their friend was doing a bad job. It's just he doesn't do retirement planning, so they are leaving all of these strategies off the table. Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.